Hello, Ben.
How are you?
Fine.
Good. The facility view is possibly protected, right?
The water utility sites are.
Right, yeah. Only the admin building and admin building still can look at
But
it.
if you want or need access, I can provide that for you.
Mhm. We want to look at every location, see any possible.
So do you know why we're meeting?
Well, I know you have a control area that you want to locate,
Okay.
or I don't know how many, and where you're suggesting necessarily, but
We're right now, we're just looking at what our options are.
okay.
So,
And is the purpose to have this backup control
center.
room on campus, at a treatment plant, any other site?
well, that's what we're looking at. So, we've got a whole bunch of criteria that we're evaluating, you know. Security is one issue. There are certain things that people want, you know, as far as microwave, you know,
So the regular services.
the services, you know, emergency power.
Is this,
So where we're kind of looking though, are the, we have a facility at Rinconada, so we're looking at the other treatment plants. We're looking at Vasona, Coyote Pumping Station, headquarters, or admin. And that's pretty much it, right?
Mhm.
And
Just
then,
don't know.
and then one of the alternatives is to do something where it's mobile. Put it on a trailer.
you talk about Rinconada, you mean the backup security monitoring station is something similar?
They want to be able to do everything they do at the backup that they do now at Rinconada for the raw water side.
So this is essentially for raw water.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we kind of looked at was, you know, we had put these guys in a temporary trailer at one time on the filter deck for
Right.
when I was doing the seismic retrofit. That was 12 by 40.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 480 square feet. The room that they used to have was slightly bigger, it was like 525, I think. I could get the dimensions. I just did that this morning. So we're kind of looking for, and they've come back and said the 12 by 40 would work. So we're looking for probably that much space. So
Well,
we know, okay.
I was going to ask. The trailer on the filter deck was in close proximity to hardwired
Oh, yeah.
connections.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this control room, is it meant to be on its own? Certainly, I assume it needs to be connected to the district intranet. But and what bandwidth or
That's the type of stuff we're looking at.
requirements.
Yeah.
And you
Really,
say
right now, what we're talking to you about primarily is space.
Mhm.
you know, the infrastructure, the power, the.
Those have a relationship to space,
Right,
and
okay.
that's only why
Okay.
you know, some places may be ruled out because either they don't have
Okay.
that capability, or maybe there's
Right.
still options because it does have some of those other
Right.
features.
Okay.
So, weren't there two trailers on the filter deck?
Yeah, one for raw and one for treated.
Okay. So what was done in the treated water side was adequate for this backup type of operation.
That's what they said,
Okay.
or the size at least.
And is there any affinity to being at a water utility site versus
Those are-
you know,
Right now.
admin or a leased facility someplace?
Right now, I would say the front runner is probably Santa Teresa,
Mhm.
because of its proximity, it's on the microwave ring,
Mhm.
but it's separate from, physically separate from Rinconada. You know, we would think, well, maybe Vasona's too close.
Well, it's also, it's on the, was that the pipeline,
Yeah.
you know, which sort of
Doesn't hurt.
ties into it.
Yeah. Right. So that right now is the front runner, but, you know, we wanted to look at, what the other alternative. You know,
Okay.
I wouldn't be at all surprised, if we ended up with a trailer. They still would like us to consider doing a mobile option. So a trailer that's primarily housed at the Santa Teresa site, but would have the power, the intranet kind of stubbed up there, right? But also have the same kind of stub here. And
So you
maybe,
can move it in
and
a
maybe
number of
at-
different
at-
places.
At Vasona as well, or Coyote. You know, they kind of like Coyote as opposed to Penitencia. But, but basically you could get somebody to haul the trailer over there and plug it in, and
Mhm.
within a few hours, maybe be up and running again. They would like us to explore that option. But again, we're just, right now, we're just kind of like, everything's open.
Brainstorming.
We call it planning, but, yeah. Well, it's not unlike the headquarters ops building, which is, what can we do? So, one of the alternatives would be, would there be space in the headquarters building? Could we reserve?
Well, we do have the one SCADA room,
Right, which is pretty small.
yeah, and
I suspect that, how big is this big room?
It looks pretty much like a conference room. You look at the room here, this room, you see, even smaller than the
318?
Yeah, 315.
13, I think. 315? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's like a little office. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that was the old security office. Well, see here is the other one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
3334. That's smaller than 500 square feet, definitely.
Well, yeah, the columns are basically 24, they're 24, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That one now is, before we have some here, but now looks not available for, I don't know, they use this one.
24 by 24?
That one much bigger.
So if it's 24 by 24, that should be big enough.
This is a
Mhm.
24 by 24.
Okay.
But 24 by 24 in the columns.
Well, if this is that column is 24?
No. You see a column here and a column there.
Okay,
You know,
so those
and
are
a column
12 then.
here.
So this is probably 12 then.
Half the,
Yeah, so that's 12, yeah, that's not big enough.
Mhm.
now,
So they're probably
L-
looking
l-
at something like 318 size maybe.
no. This was built in as an essential building at the time.
Right.
No,
That
whether
doesn't
it
hurt.
still meets that current code requirement.
Right.
But one could argue that the EOC or, you know, your control room ought to be in, you know, a building, you know, that is a essential facility.
Yeah.
And the workspace planning study is going to free up space in the building, you know, and how it's utilized, whether it is, how many of it is more cubicles and how many of it is more open area and/or assigned to these. So that is more of a longer term location, you know, possibility. You know, I don't know if you're willing to wait 5 years, you know.
Well, I think we
Well,
will
you
want to
can
make
wait.
our decision probably by the end of this fiscal year as to where we intend to put the,
And that, I don't control the space plan anymore. That is done through Karna.
oh, okay.
And so, if you want to consider putting dibs in to,
So we should be taking
for
notes on
for some space
Yeah,
in
yeah.
headquarters,
Right?
as part of the available space, you know, that could be, a request could be put into Karna, or I could, you know, share it with Karna. You know, I have a problem there, but I'm not overseeing the day in, day out space needs of office space.
Okay. But the at this point, it wouldn't be ruled out, I guess. You're not saying we know there's no way.
Well, right now, I would say there's no space in the headquarters building at all, because really the building's pretty well impacted, and there are no, I assume you want it protected, so you want to have walls, you know.
We'll probably want to have security things,
Yeah.
just like this room is, where you have
Yeah.
you need a badge to get
Yeah.
in and all
Yeah.
that rigmarole.
And so, but in the overall future of this building, it's a possibility, you know, so I wouldn't rule that out, just because currently it's not.
Okay,
You mean this building?
Yes.
okay.
How
So,
How about admin? How many admin building? Any
How many what?
admin building?
Admin building is
Any future-
being planned for the O&M watershed functions. And so they're essentially taking over the whole building.
Okay. Oh.
run that by me again?
Mhm. Oh.
All of the operating and management for the watershed groups.
Watershed.
Everything that's in the maintenance office building, vegetation crews,
Oh.
are all being looked at, being moved into the admin building, and they're looking to push out everybody else.
How about the data center?
Could be the data center, maybe not. Hasn't been decided yet.
Oh, okay.
It's in a, they're looking to go cloud-based data center eventually, so it may not continue to reside there.
Oh. Okay. And EOC?
The EOC is, I believe, still set up to be there.
Okay, EOC stay there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, no generator really capacity here, but that's part of the small cap projects is to put a generator in this building that would, serve the whole building.
There's what project?
A small cap project.
Is that a small project?
$1 million, generator, yeah. It'd still
$1
be-
million is gonna be enough to support this building? Really? Okay.
Well, the
Okay.
one
So-
that we put in down in the switch yard was like 1.1. And that serves half the campus, just about.
Okay. Okay, so you're planning a small caps project to provide a generator for headquarters, okay.
Now, there is a generator in the admin building as well, but it doesn't serve
Well,
all services.
the generator that Tom put in,
Yes.
does that serve the admin building, or, I mean, it's right next to the.
Serves the admin building, but it doesn't do the roof HVAC.
Okay,
It serves only the data center HVAC and all the office functionality.
so, if does the generator serve the EOC?
Yes.
Okay, so if there was loss of power, they would still have
Yes.
power, would they have HVAC? I mean, I think the
They
data
will-
center needs HVAC. to
They
operate,
do
right?
not have HVAC.
Okay. But the data center would have HVAC?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And that's the existing generator. Okay.
Parking or putting a trailer around the admin building, not very pretty. No easy locations there, and the same thing pretty much goes with the headquarters building. It might be in the rear driveway, where the roll-up door is, but not that that is ideal either.
Oh, you mean down here by the kitchen?
Yeah. If it's a single wide trailer, that,
Okay.
then your premise of having different places where it could park and tie in may be fine, ideal. But if it's a permanent installation, I think that might be harder for the city to permit here on campus. Because at one time, they essentially were not going to allow district to have any long-term
You're saying the
trailers.
a permanent trailer,
May be more difficult to
But a temporary, if we had a,
Well, it's just like the Winfield trailers, you know, we had to get a special PD permit, and it's essentially only good for 5 years.
Okay.
And you know, to consider it a permanent location is
Right.
gonna be an issue, I think. You know, and it's a condition of the PD permit that on this campus, you know, a permanent structure is much more preferred than anything temporary. But that doesn't mean that, you know, you couldn't, you know, maybe have the trailer over at the water quality lab or something like that, or in the courtyard, you know, for a certain period of time,
Right.
you know.
Right. I would, well, that's something we should check, but my suspicion is if we go with a trailer, well, I don't know. Yeah, I think they would, there's other issues. I think if we have a permanent trailer, they would prefer it to be at a place that's manned 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
simply because of security,
Right.
right? So they would prefer to have that at a water treatment plant
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to here where
They're
normally there's a security guard, but it's
not like
It's not
the
like-
fenced or enclosed
right.
site.
But if they had a trailer at Santa Teresa that they could move down here, well, then that would probably be for months,
Mm.
you know, that they would want to run, or maybe a year, you know. We would, I would hope that after 5 years, after some event, that they would have something.
Change in administration.
Okay.
Now, at Persona
Okay.
or Coyote, are you considering that that would be a trailer or would be built into the facility somehow?
Do you have space now?
There is no open space at Persona. I mean,
Actually,
I don't
that
know what's
one
in the
trailer.
pilot lab.
Well, no, the pilot building, I think they've got stuff going on.
Well, I know I don't know, we were just talking about it today, and, you know, are they still utilizing it, you know, the way it is? But as far as permanent structures, I think they.
I proposed getting rid of it
Mhm.
on another project, and I was met with resistance. They want to keep it. There's a reason why they put it there, and that is because then they can get water samples from both sources of imported water. And so if they ever decide to treat, you know, change the treat. But there is a trailer out there that's
In the back, yeah.
in the back. I don't know
Yeah.
what's being used for.
Don't know either.
I went in there once and was like,
Yeah.
it's not in the greatest shape.
Now, there is a trailer that is inside the Winfield Veg building that is being pulled out.
Well, I remember there was a trailer across Los Gatos Creek from Minnesota too.
I think
That
that one.
they finally get rid of that?
Yes,
Okay.
it's gone. The one that's been in the Winfield Veg building has been protected from the elements all these years. So it might be, you know,
I think what we're looking at right now is more the location than,
yeah. I'm
than
just, throwing out
Okay.
a
Okay.
easy asset.
So, but back to Basona, we were saying that there's no, currently no space available, right?
There's no hard building space available. Now, this trailer, are you expecting to have bathroom services?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I mean,
I would think-
if you're in a building, then you're sort of,
I would say no. I mean, I would say if we're in a trailer, the reason we're in a trailer is to be mobile. They didn't have bathrooms in the one that they had on the shelter deck.
no, they went into the building
They went into the building.
or into the porta potties.
They went down to the porta potties. Technically, they went down to the porta potties. I suspect they went. But I don't know. Right now, you would have to, if so, it would have to be service. I don't envision this project providing
Sewer service.
sewer service for
The hookup, yeah.
that would be my take on it. Yeah,
So at Santa Teresa, you know, that whether a trailer replaced that old one in the back, or whether it was put out in the, you know, the yard there, that certainly, you know, there's some spaces at Vasona. The only issue at Vasona is there's a little more security risk. You know, it gets, there's supposedly a fence project to try to increase security.
right.
You know, they've cut through the fence numerous times, and at Santa Teresa, again, if I don't know if any of the buildings are, you know, or if all the buildings are in full use.
You don't know?
I do not know. You know, the operations building is full.
Okay.
And so, but whether they've changed process or whatever, and,
Okay. So who would know, or who? Is that
some
something you can check,
Sam
or-
or Chris Method.
Okay. So you're saying we should ask them, not
Yeah.
you?
Because essentially it would be process areas that might be able to support the function.
Okay.
Coyote, you know, don't know, in the new warehouse, is there something that could be built in a corner or something like that,
We have said it's unoccupied.
I know it was planned as an unoccupied building. But are you envisioning this space to be occupied 24/7?
I don't know. No, I don't think we were, it wasn't really our intent to change operations there. As a part of the
So
warehouse
again,
project.
it's still just the remote backup control center.
But the thing is, the security would say, somebody could break in. That's what they're concerned about. Okay, somebody could break in, and then they would have access to everything.
Yes.
And that's what they're concerned about, whether it's during an emergency or not. That's why they want it in a 24, you know, something that's occupied 24/7,
Well,
or within a building.
At a water utility site, you know, certainly you have a double little layer of security. You have the exterior fence, and then you have the interior buildings as well, so you got to breach both of them, so.
But as of right now, I would say no to the warehouse. But that's,
Okay.
well,
There is a
I'll leave it,
project-
I'll leave it
There
as
is, there is Gary Nagaoka's asked to replace the trailers at Coyote.
That should have been done with the warehouse project.
It was in the asset management plan, I guess, scheduled for 2031. And they're bumping it up to 2020.
Okay.
So you might consider the complex, you know, those two trailers replaced with, you know,
Okay.
one or two more trailers, you know, one trailer being a, you know, a restroom.
And that's, you're saying
break room.
that's supposed to be done 2020?
That's being budgeted for, or expected to be budgeted for 2020. As far as the asset management projects.
Okay.
So, there could be some, you know, savings in doing everything together.
Yeah. You replace two, within 3.
Or 4. Like,
Oh, you need another one too?
well, I mean, if you, there's no restrooms out there, there's no real break facility, you know, just like we did over at Winfield Yard, the veg. Got 4 trailers, 3 of them office, and one of them is a wet trailer.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. There are bathroom facilities within the existing maintenance building, but anyway, there's gonna be, after having dealt with the city of Morgan Hill,
Uh-huh.
that's a pleasure.
There are bathrooms in the warehouse?
No, not in the warehouse, in the maintenance building.
Yeah, in the actual maintenance building,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
But
Okay, if
They have
if
to
you
high
put
grade.
in bathrooms, you're gonna end up having to bring out
a sewer line,
a sewer line.
yeah,
To Pete Road. I presume Pete Road.
yeah. To be determined right now, I'm just envisioning, you know, if you're gonna park that many people, you know, it might be.
It makes sense, but I mean, again, I raised the issue way back when they, you know, did they want to consider doing that as part of the warehouse project?
And then, you know, just a tidbit of information, I know when they did the maintenance building at Penitentia, Ray didn't want to put in restrooms. And they eventually did put restrooms in.
Anyway, so.
Well, I only mention to some degree because if you have, say, a single operator stuck overseeing, you know, the,
Yeah.
and they have to leave
Yeah.
and go 200 yards to, or maybe 100 yards to a facility and then hike back.
Mhm.
You know, something could happen in between, I guess.
Sure.
You know.
We have showers in this building, and they have showers at the water treatment plants. You know, I think the people that are working out at Coyote get just as dirty and just as sweaty.
Oh, the other field
It's like-
crews, yeah. Yeah,
Anyway,
so, Santa Teresa, I don't know where, if you were in a trailer. Again, I'm assuming that there would be a spot or two that could be arranged. Penitentia, that site is pretty on the hill, so whether or not you replaced the existing trailer that's up there with a new trailer. Down the hill from the maintenance building and the fluoride building.
Oh, that one, okay. Oh, yeah.
It was used for mostly construction support.
We used it, yeah.
And so it's got,
Perfect
you know,
size.
services, you know, internet and a lot of stuff there. And, you know, we've renovated it a time or two. But it's in much better shape now than it used to be. But I know they had a trailer for construction up on the driveway side as you drive in, up on the left-hand side. That's
Contractors.
Yeah, for contractors, but whether that's a little more in your face type of location. Whereas the other one sort of gets lost in the rest of the facility and nobody remembers it, you know, much.
Yeah. But I'm not sure that that's the type of temporary trailer that they're looking for. You know, if we were gonna do a mobile one,
Well, I mean,
we could, I guess, make it a mobile one.
well, I mean, you could.
But there is space.
You could put a pad, you know, build a road and a pad, and you could back it in, and
Okay.
you know, as a type of hookup type of location, maybe. Maybe that's the same thing you might consider at Santa Teresa, you know, whether you
Yeah.
carve out an area for, you know, just like, you know, your a camping spot.
Right.
With all the service connections and.
Right.
The hardest thing is if you want to have it enclosed in an existing building. And there, you know, may or not that allow the building to be used for anything like this, but when the maintenance office building gets cleared out, we don't have an idea of what it's going to be used for, or whether we'll tear it down. There's no direction in it. Now, the type of services.
Just, you know, this is just my opinion again, but I thought part of the issue was the existing building didn't meet seismic codes, doesn't meet ADA.
No.
Leaks, has dry rot.
Yeah. So far. You have to well, there's some parts of it that are
Okay.
better than others.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting you use the whole building.
Okay.
It's got termite damage, and the roof's been patched and repaired.
Okay.
The HVAC services are meager. And you know, they serve, but not, you know,
Okay.
again, is this a, you know,
But
a long-term?
But we're saying that there's a possibility then we could put it at the maintenance building. Yeah, long term, I mean, it might be future.
Take for example, you might, if the building's torn down, again, they're potentially
Right.
space there that could be for a trailer.
What location was that? What location was that?
This is the maintenance building, this is on campus here,
Oh,
you know,
close to the Almond Express?
yeah,
Top-
yeah.
You know, you could park it right next to the switch yard and have all the power you could want.
Okay,
It's got internet services provided to that
Sure,
location, so
sure. Okay,
it even has sewer.
okay, there you go.
We call it maintenance building, okay.
So, you know, you can, whether or not, you know, I don't know how quality environment you want to have, but, you know, what about even like a butler type of building, you know?
My take on that is
Or
if
some
there-
mobile, you know, type of, not mobile, but, you know, like classroom, you know, system that schools, you know,
Right,
install.
well, I mean, that, you're talking about the trailers at Coyote, the same thing,
Mhm.
you know, really, my take on it is if we can't get in an existing building, if there's no room,
Yeah,
then we're probably gonna end up doing a trailer that would be mobile. That to me makes the most sense, whether,
Mhm.
regardless of where it's.
well,
its
I think
primary
it offers
home
many
is.
added features, you know,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, I mean,
you
if you, it's gonna be cheaper. We got a quote for a trailer,
Mhm.
you know, of roughly $80,000,
How
right?
much?
80,
80?
Mhm.
right? So how much to get the Butler building permitted is gonna cost more than $80,000, right?
Yeah.
So, renovating the maintenance building, you're not gonna do that for $80,000,
No.
right? Reserving space in this building, you know, if Karna would, you know, maybe that would be competitive,
Oh,
maybe, yeah,
you know,
probably would be.
they're gonna be doing a lot of, improvements, so
That's
it could easily be just buried in the,
Yeah.
other improvements.
The admin building probably.
The admin building, the way they're talking about redoing it is not changing any of the walls,
Okay.
just changing the,
And
the,
that- and that-
workspace,
And Karna's running that?
that is done by Karna, yes.
Okay. And she knows the building.
And it's being directed by Norma, more
Oh,
or less.
okay.
So, that is the first project, they want to see done.
Okay.
And in that, I'm envisioning that there's gonna be some accommodation for the people that have to move out, because there's no place to move those people. There's some space down in Santa Teresa. But beyond that, you know, you're just not going to house another 50 people. So there could be another lease space,
Oh, okay.
you know, someplace else.
Sure.
And whether you would consider a lease space option for this,
No, I think they're looking for, no, I don't think so. I don't think they want to set something up, you know, lease space, because again, security. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, they don't want, they wouldn't want to do it twice. They, you know, I mean, once the lease is up, they don't want to have to go through this again.
yeah.
And to put all the infrastructure in that they want, it's gonna be.
No, you know, I tend to see the logic of having a mobile trailer. And you could essentially have 3 or 4 different locations that it could be moved to. And if you're mainly looking at this for continuing raw water operations in a big, emergency or something like that, or.
Well, not necessarily if it's an emergency, but I mean, it could be. I think the
The logic there is that you could go to the least affected site,
right now, we only have one, so it's a single point of failure. If something ever happened there, we're up a creek. They lose control. So,
Mhm.
they don't.
Now,
So they don't.
not that I would want to see this actually happen, but we have a penthouse on this building. And there are spaces in the penthouse that might easily house some equipment.
Penthouse in this building?
Yeah.
It is not air conditioned. But that doesn't necessarily mean you can't have some heating and cooling
We could put some
requirements.
air
But,
conditioning, right?
I mean, in a pinch,
Okay.
it-
I think we would probably, well, okay, we'll consider that. But I would, my gut is if we're renovating for.
Certainly
the-
for
the- the-
office space, it's
Carnage
being,
project.
yeah,
Although-
because,
How do you
they're
get- how do you get it?
considering other locations for the executive wing.
Executive wing. Don't tell me that they're not gonna get stuck with those little cubes.
They're
They-
going
they-
smaller, yes.
They should get the little cubes.
They're going
They-
smaller, but.
They
but-
should not have these corner.
No, but
offices.
I'm just saying that they potentially want to move off the first floor. And so, you got a corner of the first floor that may end up being a location.
Okay. How do you access the penthouse? It's not through the
It's a
elevator.
third floor stairs.
Okay,
It's got
Okay.
a locked door,
right,
could have a card reader.
sure.
You go all the way up the stairs, there's another locked door. So you gotta have a key, that will open both doors.
Okay.
And the elevator equipment's up there.
Mhm.
All the air handlers
Mhm.
for, all the floor systems.
Okay. Is it quiet enough to people working there?
I mean, I can show you,
I wouldn't mind if you could.
yeah, we can take a quick little look up there.
Okay.
If you wanna do it now, we can.
Yeah, I mean, are we about done?
Mhm.
Is there any other places we talked about? or-
I think, out of your list, I think we talked about them all.
Okay. Okay. I wouldn't mind just going up there and taking a peek.
Okay.
Because I hadn't considered that.
Well, I mean,
My gut would be.
This is 350.
Yeah, that's 315.
Maybe it's a little too busy.
Perhaps around the other side.
Oh, big space. Wow, so big the place.
Yeah, I can see where it probably is a last choice pitch.
I mean, here you don't have as much noise, and it's got a high enough ceiling, and you can essentially have a
You can have
It's
a whole
low.
bank of stuff there.
Mm-hmm.